Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop, Make Better Business Decisions with Analytics. Grow with Google helps people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skills, trainings, and tools. I'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Marquita Gooch-Voigt, and I'm the Assistant Director for Technology and Training for the Clayton County Library System and the Marketing Coordinator as well. In addition to that super long title, I am also a small business owner offering wedding planning and officiant services. And yes, I use many of Google's resources to make my small biz more visible to the masses. Today we're going to discuss how you too can make more strategic business decisions with the insights you gain from using Google Analytics. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to mention why this series of classes is important and a little different from our previous workshops. These courses are being presented as part of a Grow with Google grant the library received courtesy of the Georgia Public Library Service State Agency. With the grant funds, the library purchased items to build an entrepreneur in a bag kit. As you can see on screen, each bag comes with several items that can aid in the processes of running a small business on the go. Details about how the kits circulate are forthcoming, but as registered participants in this course, you get priority access. To qualify for borrowing a kit, you must register and attend at least 2 out of the 4 workshops, be a resident of Clayton County, and have a Clayton County issued Pines library card. Other requirements and restrictions apply. Okay, let's take a look, or let's get started for the day. Getting data is not a huge problem anymore. There are tons and tons and tons of ways to receive data. Google's opportunity is to take these huge amounts of data and make it manageable for people to enable them to interpret it. We need to find the interconnections, patterns, themes, and build in context for genuine understanding. The ultimate goal? Provide actionable insight that you as a business owner can use to prove or disprove a hypothesis. The quote on screen serves to remind us that getting data is not the problem anymore. If you are already using Google Analytics, data on your web presence is already being collected as we speak. Google's opportunity is to take this huge amount of data and make it manageable for people to enable them to understand it better. First, let's define insights. Insights help you create more effective business solutions using strategies informed by real consumer truths, whether they're brand strategies, creative ideas, product innovations, or media plans. The trouble is, insights are notoriously hard to pin down. If you ask 100 people a question, you'll get 100 different definitions of the word insight. What is clear is that when businesses look to Google for help with finding insights, they're not just looking for data. Insights are based on data, but are novel, credible, and actionable enough to unlock new opportunities. A great insight is unexpected yet obvious. An insight should inspire action and must be useful. So, how do you find them? Before we go further, let's define a few terms that we'll use in today's workshop. So we've already mentioned data, which is information you obtain from users like demographic info, behavior, and activity. Analytics are patterns and trends discovered in data. It's how you make sense of it all and uncover meaningful trends. Insights are the value you gain from data and should be actionable and prescriptive. In other words, you should know what to do next. So here's an example. Let's say you have an online business and you sell products online or an e-commerce website. Data shows that you had 1,500 site visits within the past 30 days. Analytics show that 30% accessed your site from a mobile device. Insights reveal that visitors using mobile devices are 60% more likely to convert. If you're new to data and analytics, the reports can be overwhelming. Let's look at ways to use data to help make decisions instead of relying on gut instincts. Today we'll start with the basics of Google Analytics to better drive your business decisions. During the first part of this course, we'll discuss what data is and how we use it to drive business decisions. We'll go into the basics of your Google Analytics account and how to start collecting data from your website. Then we'll review some questions that you should ask your data to better understand your customers and take a look at some reports that will help you answer these questions. Lastly, we'll show you how to interpret reports with using features like dimensions and segments. If you set up your Google account or your Google Analytics account for your website or app before October 14th of this year, the screenshots and report terms in this workshop will be what you see in your account. If you are setting up your account for the first time, you will see a newer version of this resource. Today's workshop will primarily focus on using data to make business decisions, concepts that apply to both versions of the software. So let's think about this. If your goal is to increase your online orders this month by 10%, you may want to know which traffic source is bringing the most visitors. For answers, you will use the free software that Google offers. This free and most popular tool of Google is available to help you better understand your customer experience. It provides you with all the data you need to help understand your customers and make decisions based on insight. It allows you to connect a dashboard that measures information and tracks the customer journey on your website. Remember, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. For example, if you want to understand your customers, this means analyzing demographics, gender, and interests. Thinking of your website, do you feel it meets those expectations? You can also understand behavior on your site and what actionable steps to take next. You can also learn how customers find your site to drive organic traffic. You can also track and record your goal completions. Google Analytics can help you answer reach, engage, and convert questions about your business, like how do people find my site? What do customers interact with most once they find me online? And what demographics visit my site the most? Ideally, your website leads the user from one page of useful content to the next until they finally convert. Google software can help you better understand your audience and the insights their activity gives you so you can make more strategic decisions for your business. There are many types of reports that can help you to better understand how people found and then engaged with your website. With the software, you can learn which search terms and sources drives the most traffic. To remedy a high bounce rate between your visitors and your website's content, examine in detail your visitors' interaction with your web pages, the nature of your traffic, and why those visitors are arriving at your website. Look for useful ways to segment your users. Rather than designing one experience for everyone or the average user, look for distinct groups that might have different wants or behaviors. You may also begin to understand the characteristics of your most profitable audiences. You can also understand what content your audience is most interested in. By evaluating your traffic, you can identify who is and isn't finding your page content to be useful. It can also drive your decision-making when it comes to the content you decide to highlight on your website. Understanding where your traffic comes from and what drives their conversions on your website will help you to make smarter advertising, content, and design decisions. To start collecting basic data from your website, you will first either sign into or create an analytics account. Next, you will set up a property within your account. A property represents your website or app and is the collection point for the data from your site or app. Many of you will be setting up a property for your website. It can be helpful to collaborate with a team, business partner, or perhaps a professional marketer. You can bring on additional collaborators to access the same Google account by accessing the administrative area and clicking User Management under the Account or Property sections. Within this section, you can choose to add a user or add user groups. User groups are used to easily group users with similar permissions together. When adding new users, only those users you've granted permission to will gain access to your website data. Once your account is set up, you will have access to the reports. Keep in mind that it can take upwards of 24 hours for data to start appearing in your account. If you want to make sure your reports are collecting data without waiting until the next day, open RealTime report. It will tell if anyone is looking at your website right now. So you can visit your own website, then open the report and see if the report is recording your own visit. You can also use that to make sure your web pages are tagged correctly. When you sign into your account, the home page gives you a summary of what's interesting about your data. These cards will show you information like overall traffic, the number of users that are on your site right now, and which pages they are viewing. These cards will also show you overall conversion rate, the channels by which you acquire users, and site visitors by geographic location. So now that you know how to set up your Google Analytics account, let's dive into what you can learn from these new insights. I'd like to introduce you to Eva and Ricky. Eva and Ricky are small business owners who sell apparel through their online store. Up until now, Eva and Ricky have been making the most big decisions for their e-commerce businesses from either their own gut instincts or ad hoc feedback from their existing and past customers. They have decided to set up a Google Analytics account to get a better understanding of what is and isn't working in their online store so they can make more strategic business decisions. We will use the Google Merchandise Store Analytics account to represent Eva and Ricky's e-commerce store. You can access this account from your own device so you can dig deeper into these reports and practice before you set up your own. Sometimes making decisions on gut instinct works great, but it's almost always better to base decisions and actions on data. Many decisions could see improved results if data supported them. For example, Eva and Ricky would experiment with new t-shirt designs and then immediately add it to their website banner without collecting data from their audience on the need or desire for those new designs and styles. Here, we've included an image of 3 new t-shirts on the banner from the merchandise homepage. When sales were down for a particular item, they would put it on sale. Instead of cutting prices when sales were down, Eva and Ricky could have boosted visibility by advertising or trying different promotions using the data to see if it helped. When Eva and Ricky started their e-commerce business, they assumed their customer base would primarily be women within the ages of 35 to 44 and used that data to drive marketing initiatives without collecting data. For your own business or website, this is how we recommend you get started. First, outline your goals. Goals are the customer actions you care about most. What outcomes do you want? What do you want to improve? One example could be that you want to increase your web traffic by a specific percentage amount. Next, what are the questions that you need to ask? What information do you need to know to achieve your goals? The questions we ask about offline advertising campaigns often apply online as well. Lastly, determine which tools and reports can help you get your answers. So let's talk a little bit more about goals. Begin with the outcome in mind. What do you want to happen? What are you trying to achieve? Everything you do should support your goals. There are many types of goals, like in our example of increasing web traffic, but is that goal meaningful to you? Let's talk about what good business goals actually are. One way to do that is by using the SMART framework. Is your goal specific and detailed? Can you track this goal? How will you measure it? How will you know when you've accomplished it? Is this goal realistically attainable? Will this goal help you reach your business goals? And is it relevant to your business? Lastly, when do you want to achieve this goal? Set a time frame. Eva and Ricky set a goal for their merchandise store to decrease shopping cart abandonment by 60%. They used data to find out how many users were adding items to their cart over a period of time. They compared that number to total transactions during that same time period to measure cart abandonment rate. As time went on, they made modifications to the checkout process to decrease that number. With each incremental change, they reviewed those numbers to see the effect. Ultimately, they were able to drive cart abandonment rate to 45%. So, what are your own goals? You should always take a few minutes to write them down and always keep your goals in mind. For current business owners, think about the existing goals you might have for your business that you want to monitor and measure with Google Analytics. For those of you who haven't yet created your new website, what purpose do you think your website will serve? What conversion goals do you have based on the actions you'd like your customers to take? You can always write down a few ideas as we go through the workshop if you have pen and paper available or a digital document in front of you. Keep in mind, your website goals may become even more important if your primary business operations have been moved to the online space. So now that we've talked about goals, we can consider what questions to ask to meet them. Let's look at a few examples of the types of questions you can ask to help you get the answers you need. The framework you see represents stages of a business's relationship with customers. You ask these questions and use answers to move customers through these stages. First, reach customers with methods like advertising, organic search, social media, and offline promotions. After they arrive, you need to engage them. Are they able to find what they're looking for? Once they do, it's conversion time. The goal is to help visitors complete important actions on your site. For example, if they might buy a t-shirt, or they may submit a form with a question to talk about a bulk order or sign up for a newsletter. Those are all examples of conversions. Ultimately, you want to sustain long-term relationships, get customers to return. And this could be in the form of a rewards program, monthly discounts, and more. So, an example of a reach question is, how do my customers find me? An example of an engage question is, what do they look at and engage with on my website? A convert question may be, do visitors then become customers? And lastly, a sustained question may be, do my customers return? We'll revisit these questions a little later as we dive deeper into the reports. So let's start with reach. Think of reach as people you want to visit your website and become your customers. Reach questions help you understand brand recognition and awareness and how people find you online. So let's go back to Eva and Ricky's online merchandise store. If their goal is to increase online orders by 10% this month, they may ask, how do people find us online? If customers can't find their business online, they can't place online orders. Think about other reach questions Eva and Ricky may ask. Do they have the correct name, address, and phone number published online? Is the website address easy to remember and type? If they have an email newsletter, do people open it, read it, and click through it? Next, we'll talk a little bit about engagement and the reports that help us answer these questions. Engage questions involve discovering how or if people who find you interact with your website. Do they navigate to more than one page of your website? Do they watch your videos? Do they search for things on your site? Do they download PDF informational sheets? Do they look at your menu? Think about what other engage questions Eva and Ricky could ask. Can people easily find their products? Do people create accounts at checkout? Do people download coupons? Now let's look at those conversion insights. Conversion turns site visitors into paying customers. Convert questions help you find out how or if that happens. Once people find you online, do they take further action? Basically, do they buy stuff from you? Do they sign up for your newsletter or schedule an appointment or reach out to you directly for more information? To meet their goals, Eva and Ricky can ask, how many online orders did we receive last month? Other questions they could ask are, is it easy to order from the online store? What social media channels drive the most sales? And what coupons or sales help to increase orders? Lastly, sustain turns customers into loyal customers who continue to interact with your business. Sustain questions help you understand what customers say about you online. Do they like your products and services? What do they wish you could do better, etc.? To meet Eva and Ricky's goal for their merchandise store, they may ask, what are people saying about my business online? Other questions could be, what color shirts would they like to see? You can do that by having a Google form on your website for customer feedback. Who are the loyal repeat customers and how can they be rewarded? You may achieve that goal by offering a rewards program or discounts when people sign up for your newsletter during the month of their birth. The possibilities are endless. So, we have our goals and we have the questions that we need to ask. So what tools can help us answer those questions? Let's look at the different types of insights that are available within Google Analytics. We know that analytics can seem complex and daunting. There are several ways to mix and match the segments to produce the reports. But this is an overview of the categories found within the software and how you can mix and match filters to produce reports. These categories will match the types of reports you see in the menu on the left-hand side of the home dashboard found within your account. Real-time reports show the impact of marketing efforts in real time. They are immediate and continuously monitoring the effects that campaigns and site changes have. Audience reports provide insight into characteristics of your users, such as demographics, interests, geographical location, language, technology, and devices. Acquisition reports provide a window on your users' acquisition behavior conversion, or the ABC cycle. Basically, how you acquire users, their behavior on your site, and their conversion patterns. Behavior reports tell you how behavior varies between the new and returning users of your website. Lastly, conversion reports shows the completion of an activity that is important to the success of your business. You can use these reports to see how all your channels work together to create sales. So, real-time, again, shows the impact of marketing efforts in real time. Here are a few highlights of the ways you might use real-time analytics. You may use real-time to determine if new and changed site website content is being viewed, determine if a one-day promotion drives more traffic and which pages are being viewed, monitor immediate effects on site traffic from a blog or social post, and monitor goal completions as you test site changes. Even Ricky's business may have had the benefit of media coverage. When this occurs, it can be difficult to measure how that may affect traffic spikes on the site. Info allows Eva and Ricky to prep the site for possible traffic and forecast potential orders. From the beginning of their business, Eva and Ricky used RealTime to measure the traffic spike as media coverage ran. As they collected historical data, they were able to compare it to the number of orders while factoring in the reach of that particular exposure. Now, they are able to accurately predict how many orders and traffic spikes to expect when they have an upcoming media release or radio appearance based on the size of their audience. Audience reports provide insight into who your audience is. Business owners often have preconceived notions about who their audiences are. Google software can help you learn more about your audience and potentially detect a mismatch. Eva and Ricky initially assumed that their target audience was women ages 35 to 44. But what they can actually see from their demographics report is that their largest audience is males ages 25 to 34. They can use this information now to drive their marketing initiatives and future product development. Acquisition reports provide a window on users' acquisition behavior conversion, or the ABC cycle. This allows you to see where traffic comes from and how channels perform. Eva and Ricky use acquisition reports to find out how people are discovering their online store or finding them through search. With this report, they can see the different sources of their traffic to include organic search, social media, and paid search. They can use this information to drive site content, overall content strategy, Google Ads campaigns, and advertising affiliate content. Behavior reports visualize the path users travel one page or event to next. It helps you discover what content keeps users engaged with your site and identify potential content issues. You must have set up and be tracking events before they appear in the behavior flow report. The more organized you are about setting up the event tracking code, the easier it is to use the events or pages of the behavior flow report. Eva and Ricky use behavior flow to help guide them through any changes to the merchandise store that may affect the conversion funnel. This gives them a great view into the path people are taking on their site so they can identify any areas of efficiency in the conversion process. Conversion reports is a completion or shows you the completion of an important business activity like a product purchase or lead. Eva and Ricky use conversion reports quite a bit for their merchandise store. When they make a change to the site or products, they want to make sure it has positive effect on conversions. You never want to guess. They'll look at a report for a recent period, make the change on their site, and then see how that change affects or doesn't affect their conversion percentage or their average order value. For example, they started offering video messages to customers. This allowed their customers to upload a video message to a gift recipient that would be texted or emailed to the package recipient when it was delivered to their door. It offered a cool way to add a personal touch from the gift giver, but it required an extra step at checkout. Whenever you add a step, you risk decreasing conversions. People don't want to go through 20 steps at checkout. They designed the step to be as efficient as possible, making it easy to skip and quick for someone who did want to use it. With each iteration of the feature, they measured the conversion percentage and adjusted it accordingly. Other conversions you can measure include your newsletter signups, the number of forms that were submitted, appointments booked, or completed orders. Within your audience report, the behavior report for new versus returning users can help you gain valuable insight into the sustainability of your audience. If Eva and Ricky see that new visitors to their merchandise store are spending far more time on their site than returning visitors, they may decide to incentivize first-time visitors to return later. They could offer coupon code to shoppers after they've completed their first purchase in an effort to encourage repeat visitors. This data could also give insight into issues with the website or its content that may prevent customers from returning. So, what did Eva and Ricky learn? By using the software, they discovered that most of their gut instincts, which drive their business decisions, are wrong. Their top audience is 25 to 34-year-old males, not 35 to 44-year-old women, as previously expected. They also discovered that most of their traffic is coming from organic search, not their paid ads. Lastly, they are able to see that most of their purchases are from brand new customers and first-time visitors, and not their loyal following as previously assumed. Before we move forward, let's define some additional terms we're going to use during the rest of the workshop. Dimensions is a descriptive attribute or characteristic of data. Browser, landing page, and campaign are all examples of default dimensions within the Google software. Segments are a subset of sessions or users that share common attributes. Goals is settings to track actions or conversions on your site or mobile app. Hits are visitor interactions on your site that result in data being sent to Google software. A type of hit, or events, is a type of hit used to track user interactions with content. So let's dive deeper into understanding your data with dimensions. If you've already set up your Google Analytics account, it's likely that you've already been using dimensions and just haven't noticed it. Dimensions describe your data. For example, the dimension city describes the city where a user's session originates. The value could be Atlanta, Seattle, Chicago, etc. Other dimensions could include the device or browser used to access your website. Each report includes a primary dimension, a lens from which you can view your data. Sometimes you may want to dig deeper than the primary dimension, and that's where secondary dimensions come into play. They allow us to layer on another dimension to get a more in-depth view on the data you were currently analyzing. For example, you could set your primary dimension or city as New York, then layer on a second dimension like browser. This will change the view of the report so you can see how many visitors to your website came from New York City and what web browser they used. Let's take a closer look. So in this example, we're using a location report under the geographical section. We've narrowed it down to just showing Texas as we are looking to make some decisions on current marketing efforts within the Dallas area. The primary dimension, city, offers great insight as to how many users we acquired during the selected frame. What it doesn't tell us is where those users came from. You can view which channels are driving traffic to your website by adding a second dimension. In this example, the second dimension is source or medium. SourceMedium describes where your traffic comes from. The source is the place users are before seeing your content, like a search engine or another website. The medium describes how users arrived at your content. Some example values for medium include organic or unpaid search traffic and none for direct traffic. With these changes, the report will show not only the city, but what source or medium is driving that traffic. That can be really helpful if you're focusing on more local business. Google Analytics also has a feature called filters. Using filters, you can take your already detailed data to the next level. Remember, we wanted to focus on the source of website traffic data within the Dallas area, but we could still see cities within Texas. If you typed Dallas in the filter and click the search button, you can now see information for just Dallas. Clicking on advanced allows you to use advanced filter functions like multiple filter criteria, exclusions, and regular expressions if needed. Dimensions help you to better understand your data by diving deeper. But now we'll talk a little bit about segments. So segments help you both analyze and understand the trends of your business by setting up subsets of your data within Google software. Segments are subsets of your data that you can isolate to analyze and respond to the trends in your business. For example, let's say you own a merchandise business with an online store. Of all of your site visitors within one segment, they may be visitors from a particular country or city. Another segment may include users who only purchase t-shirts. So what can you do with that data? By looking at the segment data of customers in a specific geographic location, you notice that that specific group is no longer purchasing hats from your merchandise store. This may give you insight that leads you to figure out that another business within that geographic location is also selling hats with similar designs at a lower price. You could then change your designs or your pricing strategy to compete within that location. You can also use segments in your remarketing campaigns. For example, you can create a segment of users who only visit or purchase from your kids' t-shirt pages, and then target those visitors with remarketing campaigns that only offer new items or promotions for kids. The default segment for analytics is all users, which allows you to view your data for all users that visit your site. There will often be times that you want to focus on a specific subset or segment of that data. You can use filters for subsets of users, sessions, and hits. Subsets of users include consumer activity on your website, such as those who have previously purchased from you before, or those who have added items to their shopping cart but didn't complete a purchase. Subsets of sessions include interactions by a single user that are grouped into sessions originating from a holiday campaign or all sessions where a purchase occurred on your website. Subsets of hits are interactions during a session. Hits can include page views, events, and transactions. An example of a hit includes a subset of sessions that resulted in revenue greater than $15. You can utilize the standard system of provided segments to view or compare data for the different subsets of your user base. In this example, we're viewing data for several traffic source segments as well as users that made a purchase at the same time in the demographics overview report. So you can clearly see that the top age group is the same across all traffic sources, as well as those who made an actual purchase. This helps to solidify some assumptions that were made as to who the target age group is for our website in this example. To build new segments within your reports, you would click Add Segment at the top of your reports page. Then click the red button labeled New Segment. You would give the segment a name that will be easy to remember and populate the criteria that will define your segment. To define a segment, you will need to choose the characteristics. Your segment may be women age 18 to 65 that live in North America and only use the Google Chrome browser. After you've added your characteristics, you can then preview the segment. You can also save that segment for later use by button. All right, so we reached the halfway point of this workshop. As mentioned before, this series of workshops is a little different from the ones we've offered in the past, as they are part of a Grow with Google grant the library received from the Georgia Public Library System. We'll take about 5 minutes for you to go to the link on screen to complete the quiz. If you don't have time to complete it, the quiz will still be available until tomorrow morning. Remember to use the name and email address you used to register for this workshop to be added to our notification list about how you can borrow one of our Entrepreneur in a Bag kit. I will also place the link in the web browser for easier access. If you use multiple Google products, you can maximize the benefits of those products by linking them and sharing data across the linked accounts. Google Analytics can be linked with multiple products such as Google Ads and Google Search Console to provide better insight into the complete customer journey from the click on an ad or search result all the way to conversion or lack thereof on your website. There are several products that you can link to your Google Analytics account, but here we're only discussing two of the more widely used ones. To link Google products to your account, you must first create an account for each of the products you want. Once your account is set up, you can visit your admin section of the analytics software. From there, click All Products, which will take you to the Properties section. Here you can click the link button for each product you want to link to analytics. The process for each product will vary slightly, but they all involve inputting or selecting the account you want to link to your analytics account. So you might be wondering what the advantage is to linking Google Analytics to the other Google products you currently use. Some examples of how you can better utilize data by linking accounts together include learning about what happens after users click on your Google ad. This helps you learn what's working and what isn't so you can take steps to improve your campaigns. For instance, certain keywords may result in a higher conversion rate. You can also target specific users based on their previous behavior. By linking your analytics account with your Google Ads account, you can define customer groups by their activity on your website. For instance, you can identify the audience who has put 3 or more items in their shopping cart, but then abandoned that cart. By offering this group a temporary promotion, you may be able to convert them after shopping cart abandonment. You can use advanced machine learning, which helps you get the most out of your data within the analytics profile. You can better understand your organic traffic and how certain keywords either do or do not convert. By linking to Google Search Console, you'll be able to better understand your organic traffic and the conversions that either do or do not take place with those audiences. So, how can Eva and Ricky make better business decisions based on what they learned? By using Google Analytics, they discovered their top audience, and right now, if they created a website design that is relatable to their new demographic, this could affect their ad strategy and both audiences they want to target in the future, as well as promotions and imagery that they use. This data might also be an indication of product changes they may need to make better tailor their merchandise to a female audience and a variety of different age groups. By understanding that most of their traffic is actually coming from organic search, Eva and Ricky may want to review their search queries and update their ads for more effective search terms. They also learned that most of their paying customers are new visitors to their website. They may decide to offer a loyalty program or promotions for past customers to encourage repeat business. So, today we discussed your goals and what you want to accomplish for your business. We also talked about how you need to identify the questions you need to ask in order to achieve these goals. Remember, when asking questions based on the phases, or you should ask questions that are based on the phases of customer engagement, which were reach, engage, convert, and sustain. Within your Google Analytics account, you should always seek out reports that can help you answer your questions. If you want to sharpen your business and marketing skills, you should take a look at Google Primer. This is a free app that you can download on any smartphone. Primer has a series of short and fun lessons that are all less than 5 minutes that gives you information like tips for building a better website and much more. You can also grow your digital skills through online workshops that are offered free through Google. These workshops help you to learn skills that can help you stay connected and productive while working or managing a business remotely. Google also offers even more free online and training tools via their Grow with Google initiative that helps prepare people for work, finding jobs, and growing their business. Job seekers can grow their skills in order to find new jobs and advance their careers. Small business owners can build their online presence and find new customers. Startup companies can learn how to get their ideas to the exposure they need to succeed. And developers can sharpen their current skills and master new ones. These courses and more are available at google.com/grow. Once again, my name is Marquita Gooch-Void. I am the Assistant Director for Technology and Training at the Clayton County Library System, as well as the Marketing Coordinator. Thank you so much for attending today's session. If you have any more questions, our organization is always here to help. And you can find us online at www.claytonpl.org. Links from today's webinar will be posted within the YouTube chat and will be available after the live stream ends.